Advent is here, Christmas is coming. Join us as we explore some themes of this wonderful season. It's Christmas time, and that means that we are giving gifts. But let's take a little bit of a deeper look at where this tradition of gift giving came from. It comes from the story of the Magi. Let's read about it here in Matthew 2, 1 through 12. After Jesus was born in Bethlehem in Judea, during the time of King Herod, Magi from the east came to Jerusalem and asked, "Where's the one who has been born King of the Jews? We saw his star when it rose, and we've come to worship him." When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all of Jerusalem with him. When he had called together all the people's chief priests and teachers of the law, he asked them where the Messiah was to be born. "In Bethlehem, in Judea," they replied, "for this is what the prophet has written. But you, Bethlehem, in the land of Judah, are by no means the last among the rulers of Judah. For out of you will come a ruler who will shepherd my people." Then Herod called the Magi secretly and found out from them exactly the time the star had appeared. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, "Go and search carefully for the child. As soon as you find him, report to me, that I may too go and worship him." After they had heard the king, they went on their way, and the star they had seen when it rose went ahead of them until it stopped over the place where the child was. When they saw the star, they were overjoyed. And on coming to the house, they saw the child with his mother Mary, and they bowed down and worshiped him. Then they opened their treasures and presented him with gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to go back to Herod, they returned to their country by another route. What a story. This story is so full of so much. But I want to reflect a little bit on what we often focus on in this story, which is the gifts, that these Magi were the first Christmas time gift givers. Gifts are complicated at Christmas time. I know I love to give and receive gifts. My children love and look forward to opening up gifts at Christmas time. But sometimes I think I feel a little bit guilty, and I notice that the materialism of the season can take over. We, a lot of times around Christmas, hear messages or maybe sermons that it's not about the gifts, it's not about the presents, it's not about materialism. We have to focus on Jesus and the real gift or the real meaning of the season. And I absolutely believe that to be true. It is so easy to get caught up in material things that can steal the real joy of this Advent season. But I do want to maybe think a little deeper about the act of gift giving. Maybe we can explore this with a little less guilt and a little bit more of an open heart. There is something about the fact that these Magi brought to the baby Jesus real gifts. But I think that the gifts that they brought, the gold, frankincense, and myrrh, while those were important and represented a lot, they actually were so valuable because of the presence of the ones who came to give those gifts. What do we know about these Magi? What do we know about these foreign travelers who brought these gifts? Well, the truth is, we actually do not know much. You know, a lot of stories have been told about them. They've been portrayed in movies and in nativity scenes in a lot of different ways. But what we do know is that these were people, likely wealthy individuals, who came from a faraway land. They were not of Jewish descent. They did not know the Holy Scriptures, but they were seekers. They were ones who looked to the heavens and were searching for something, searching for a divine message, and they received it. And they were willing to pursue a divine message that really did not have a lot of direction. They just knew that they were to follow something that pulled and tugged on their hearts. And they followed it. They followed it into the courts of King Herod. They followed it with questions. They followed it with wondering, and they followed it to a place that led them on a journey, a long journey. And that journey ended in the home of a poor woman with her child. And in that place, they brought their gifts. They knelt before and offered these gifts before a child, declaring that he was the Messiah. What makes this profound is not necessarily the gifts that they gave, but their presence and their story that accompanied the gifts that they gave. It is powerful that their gifts represented a journey, a very real journey. And the truth is that at Christmas time, we can also give gifts in this way. I want to invite you to maybe think about gift giving a little different. Yes, likely you are going to give gifts this season, and that is wonderful. But perhaps in the giving of the gifts, think about what it means to also give the gift of your story, your presence, your questions, your journey. What does it look like to bring your whole self in the act of gift giving? This is a little bit vulnerable. This costs us something that sometimes is even more costly than the price we pay for the physical gifts that we give. But the reward is so much greater. What would it look like for you in your personal life to give the incredible gift of your presence to the ones that you love around you, and also, and maybe even more importantly, to our beloved Christ? How might you give the gift of your presence to Christ this season with bringing your whole self before him? Your journey, your stories, your questions, your wondering, all of that is invited and welcomed into his presence. May you find great joy in bringing the gift of your presence this Advent season. Amen.